why don't people in PulseChain and PulseX and Hex get any advantage over normal people in the ProveX sacrifice? Well, who knows? But I can make some guesses. If you were to, let's say you were to run up the price of something 1,000,000%, and then convert it into something else and be like, you know what? That something else has to also go up another 1,000,000%, can never dip, or I'm going to be mad at you. It's a pretty hard thing to handle. So what if instead, if when people sacrificed, there was less sacrificers, which means less potential sell energy? Or what if it did? What if you had sacrificed before the 1,000,000%? So if you sacrificed a thing before it ran up 1,000,000%, you'd have 1,000,000% less kind of sell pressure later, so to speak. So, I mean, the theory, and it's just a theory, no one really knows these things. No one really knows where the price is going to go. No one really knows psychology. You're making a lot of guesses. The theory is if people sacrifice things at lower numbers, it's much easier for them to be happy because it's much easier for it to go up because there's less sell pressure. So like part of the reason Hex went up 1,000,000%, in my opinion, is because there's less sell pressure because people were locking it up for years. And so in other systems where people don't have a locking mechanic to reduce sell pressure, you've got finite options available to reduce sell pressure. Less people could hear about it. So for instance, maybe it wouldn't be on other sites. So I looked around on pulsechain.com, pulsex.com, hex.com. I didn't see any mention of ProveX. Interesting. And stupid, probably. It would be cool if that was on there, in my opinion. But it probably leads to less sacrifice and probably leads to less potential sell pressure if the token ever has a price. Now, I've seen similar launch mechanics for free and open source things with Hex and PulseChain and PulseX and Inc. And they all ended up with a price. And they all did multiples. Did PulseX do a multiple? I don't think PulseX did a multiple, but PulseChain did. PulseX might have day one. I have to go look at the chart. So I think fair is fair. I think more liquid things have more value than less liquid things. And I think that if people sacrifice things for cheaper than for higher, then whoever or whatever the future market looks like, it should have less sell pressure in it because there's less economic energy to start with. I think a lot of the reasons, it's funny, if you look at the coins that have launched recently, the charts have been terrible. They go up day one, they go down, and they go death forever. And I've seen this across every celebrity coin, every politician coin. It's wild. I believe part of a price chart shape is based on the number of people that will hear about a thing compared to the number of people that heard about it day one. And so if you front load all your energy onto day one, you're going to get one of those dumb looking charts that's just big spike day one and then people, just dies forever. We've seen it over and over and over and over and over again. I'd prefer to have a chart that doesn't look like that. So reflexivity. PulseChain, faster, cheaper, Ethereum. Same code. Check it out. Just some changes to make it faster and make it cheaper. So it has lower inflation by 25%. It has faster block times, 10 seconds instead of 12 seconds. Hex, time locking with very low inflation. Not as low as Bitcoin's. Not as low as PulseChain's. Definitely not as low as PulseX, which only burns, can never mint. And I believe ProveX is the same. It can only burn, never mint. If you want to see a cool looking chart, I hate mentioning a website that, you don't want to show someone a website that has 1,000 million other coins on it that can scam people. You prefer people not get scammed. But if you do know where to look up the chart of, say, PulseX versus Pulse, it's an amazing looking chart in favor of PulseX. And I think the reason for that is because it has such a superior buy and burn mechanic and it can never inflate. There is some inflation in Pulse to stakers. I think they get like 10% a year on average. You'd have to do, there's websites that track it, like ultrasound.money or something. I don't exactly remember it. Maybe that's Ethereum's supply tracker. Maybe PulseChain Stats has that. PulseChainStats.com. I haven't looked through a lot of these websites in a while. So long story short, I think PulseChain and Hex and PulseX are amazing. And I think all they need is some marketing. And I think having a cool new project that doesn't have as much competition as layer ones or DEXs can work well. Because if what you're trying to do isn't working, you have to rotate. If people were interested in what you had, they would have it already. You have to rotate your pitch. You have to try different things. So if you say this is to on-ramp new users to this thing, and then people check the chart and they don't like the chart, they're not going to like the new thing. If you say the new thing is to help all chains, amplify all chains, transcend chains, you end up with users that don't care to check other charts because it doesn't matter as much, because they're not, the reason the thing exists is on its own. What else? Yeah, some thought went into this stuff, my guess. So I think the chart of a thing that has decamillions of sacrifice is likely a lighter, easier chart to go up than a thing that has, say, a billion, just from a math perspective.